I give off this persona on social media, and it is me, but it's more casual, it's more friendly, jokey. But when they come into that classroom, Lonny, I'm like, if you do something bad, I'll come for you. I will cut your throat. This industry's small. I will find you and hurt you. I think one of the biggest things that I do is the people that I surround myself positive and uplifting, and I'm constantly learning from them. I got that asked by my best friend, and unfortunately, she died 4 months later. Probably missed telling her that it's definitely a regret. I actually had some people enrolled for my hands-on courses, and I refunded everybody, and a lot of those people came back and said, can you put your courses online? And I was like, huh? And I just didn't want to be online like this. Like, I'm not really that comfortable with being recorded or online. So I did do that. And Lonny, I have to admit it, I haven't admitted this to my husband yet, but I did it so I didn't have to homeschool the kids.
How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. I just finished my damn NP, Lonny. So I am a new woman. I'm like, I was walking down the street, right? I got to take my son to his basketball game, and I'm like, why are these strangers smiling at me? And then I realized I was smiling at them, and they had to smile back because I was beaming so much.
Oh my God. I saw your Instagram with the notes one at a time. I was like, you go, girl. That is so awesome.
Yeah, it's nice to be done. It feels good, and I'm smiling a lot. I've got really tight zygomaticus minor and major.
Well, I mean, 3 years ago, do I start a business? Do I get an NP? And what Sean said, both?
Yeah. He said to me, you'll do both. And I went, oh, shit, I better.
Yeah. Wow. We'll get into, we don't care. I don't care about order here. So Sean, who's Sean? How did you hook up with Sean? Tell me about Sean.
Do you know, Sean is a life coach. And when we went into the pandemic, I left the job that I was working in, and we actually moved to Indiana. We live in the city of Chicago, and things weren't great here with the pandemic. They weren't great with George Floyd stuff. So I left where I was working, and I moved, an hour and a half away to Indiana, and I was homeschooling, and I was like, oh Lord, help me. And I actually had some people enrolled for my hands-on courses, and I refunded everybody. And a lot of those people came back and said, can you put your courses online? And I was like, huh? And I just didn't want to be online like this. Like, I'm not really that comfortable with being recorded or online, So I did do that. And Lonny, I have to admit it, I haven't admitted this to my husband yet, but I did it so I didn't have to homeschool the kids.
Don't worry, no one but maybe 6 million people will hear that. So we're good. We're good.
So this house that we were renting, I would go down into the basement. I'd say to my husband, oh, I'm recording these online courses. And I'm like, when school would finish, I'd come back up. I'm like, hey, how was your day? And so I recorded them and I put them out there. They were really well received. And then I was in a place of, I have to find a space for these people to do the hands-on business. So I've got, great connection of people here in Chicago. There's so many wonderful providers, but not everyone was following the COVID precautions in those days. And so I thought, let me get my own space. And that's where I can bring them in safely and do the hands-on portion. But as I was making sort of those decisions, a friend of mine used this life coach to basically put her kids into order, and he gave her the suggestion of having family meetings, which actually we do. And so I called this guy out of a moment of, what am I going to do? I have no idea what I'm going to do. And I said, I don't know whether I should go back to school or whether I should start my own business. And he just said those words to me. He said, you'll do both. And I didn't think that was possible until someone said it to me. So
That's
I did
great.
both.
Are you still using Sean? I'm curious.
Do you know, it's ironic because I actually just got 2 messages this morning from 2 of my staff members, and one of them sent me a text message, and he had his one-on-one with Sean today. And he said some powerful things. And then I got an Instagram message from my other team member saying that her meeting's tomorrow. So ironically, I've only had that one session, but I make sure that my team has sessions with him. And I've just not put that time aside. And I'm ready to have that second session again, but I make sure that everyone around me has, those opportunities.
Sometimes you know what you need when you need it, and then when you don't, it's just that way, I think. Yeah. I think that's great. Well, kudos to you, and shout out to Sean too. I checked out his Instagram and everything. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy, and he's so handsome. He's like 7 foot, and I just look at him.
Yeah, 7 foot is good. It's good. Yeah. Well, congrats again. I'm so proud of you and happy for you.
Thank you, Lonny. Yeah, I am too.
Yeah. So let me start out with a question, okay? Well, first of all, before I do it, I've never actually asked you how you prefer when you were growing up. First of all, is Rana, am I pronouncing Rana the way you like
Rana's
it? Okay.
correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love names. Is it your given name?
It is. It's a Māori name where I'm from in New Zealand.
Yeah, I believe it's mostly a male Maori name, isn't it? More
male? Yeah, it can be male or female.
Yeah. It's a fascinating name. It has some Arabic roots, meaning beauty.
Yeah, it does. Yes, it does.
It does have some Latin roots. You know the Latin roots?
Yes, I do. My children speak Spanish.
Okay, so then you know what it means. Let's go with the Arabic meaning, okay?
Yeah, let's go with that. Let's not go with frog.
Yeah. The Latin meaning's frog. Arabic's more beauty and things of beauty. So I consider that where we're going.
I love that. And it's really nice because when I meet Arabic people, they always say to me, oh, do you know that your name is Arabic? And I'm like, yeah, and it's a nice instant connection. And I really love that. I really love it.
Yeah. I got to visit your beautiful country, and I didn't get to spend enough time in the Maori stuff because I really was fascinated by it. I was so busy with the beauty and hiking and everything else.
Yeah.
But, and I know it's just a very interesting dynamic, but the culture, what I know of the culture is quite interesting. It really is.
Yeah, it's great.
And how about, because most people pronounce it Kennelly, some people pronounce Kennelly. I've heard both. What do you prefer? How is that?
I don't know the true pronunciation, but my family
says... How do you pronounce it?
Kennelly.
Okay, yeah.
Kennelly. The kids would say Kennelly, smelly belly at school.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's a very interesting and beautiful name. Did you know anyone else named Rana growing up?
No, I didn't. There was a male politician on the news, and his name was Rana, but I didn't know anyone else.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that leads me in, now that I know the preferred way of pronouncing it, the question I have for you to start off is, who is Rana Kennelly?
Who am I? Oh gosh, that is a big question. I think that I don't know. Well, in this present moment, I feel very happy and proud of myself, which is, I'm always looking to advance myself and challenge myself. So you've got me on a day where I'm sort of reveling in the glory, and probably by tomorrow I'll have some new goals. Who am I? Well, first of all, I'm Māori. That's my culture. And I'm proud to be Māori. I'm proud to be a New Zealander. So that's my birthright. And I don't know, I'm born happy. I'm a happy person. And I feel like every day is a privilege. I feel that we get to make good choices when we have a privileged life and a happy life. But the inside of me wants to always do well and be a good person. It's kind of the things like, who am I, kind of the values that I try to put inside my children. Like this morning, I walked them to school and I said, listen with your ears, be kind with your heart, and be careful with the words that come out of your mouth. You know what I mean? So the things that I am and the things that I try to represent are the things that I try to give my children. It's hard to think on who you are. I almost think about what do people say about you is sometimes more about who you are, because sometimes you don't recognize it yourself. I've never been asked that question.
So what would people say about you?
I think that they would say that I was approachable. I think people would say that I'm honest. They'd say that I'm hardworking. I'm fair. I'm a straight shooter. I think that my family would say that they enjoy being around me, that I'm stubborn, definitely stubborn.
Stubborn.
I see black and white and not much grey. Yeah.
What do people who don't like you say about you?
What do people don't like that say about me? I think that those are people that you want in your life. You want to be challenged, right? So sometimes I've been challenged by my mentors and they say things that I completely disagree with, but you have to respect one another. It's not following the same line. The challenges is what helps you grow. So the people that don't like me probably say that I've got a big mouth. They might not like what I've got to say. You know, I might make people accountable. I might challenge them on their views, you know, that sort of thing. So, you know, there's definitely those people out there, but that's okay. You know, I don't expect to walk the line with everybody holding hands and skipping. You know, this is about growth and making mistakes, falling over, getting up again. And you don't have to have everyone like you. You know, the most important thing is for you to like yourself. You know, I'm not looking for cheerleaders surrounding me. I'm looking for people that are going to challenge me.
So if someone who likes you has told you something about yourself that you either weren't aware of or that you're not happy that they told you, can you tell me about a time when that happened?
Do you know, it's different because in America, everyone is much more positive and sort of give you accolades and speak to you in more positive, uplifting language. Where you've been to New Zealand, we're a little bit more forthcoming and straightforward, you know. So in America, you don't really get so much of that. And I have to go home to be grounded, or I have to travel to be grounded and to hear more of those things. You know, the first thing that I think about is, you know, a lot of people talk about in America how amazing their kids are. And when I went home last, I was saying to my friends, you know, "Oh, how are the kids?" And they're like, "Oh, they're such dicks," you know. And I just started laughing because I'm like, yeah, mine can be dicks too. And you just don't hear that here, you know. So it's just brutally honest when we go home. We're not trying to level up on one another. We just say it as it is. So I've got to try and think of what someone said about me back home. But the problem is we don't say it behind each other's back. We just say it straight to you, which is nice.
That I can't, you know, 10 minutes ago, Graham and I were just having a conversation because I got a chance to record a podcast this week with Tim and then one with Miranda separately. And they both used the term mollycoddle, and they said, we don't mollycoddle our kids, or, you know, this person didn't mollycoddle me. And Graham was just reflecting on the fact that there's helicopter parents here in the U.S. and everyone's above average. So I love what you said. It just reflects, I've lived abroad too, and it is very different. I agree with you. Yeah. I didn't so your heritage is Maori?
Yeah.
Wow. And Kennelly is a very Irish name, isn't
it? Yes. So my mother's side of the family is Māori and my father's side of the family is Pākehā. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I really, well, the next time we're together, you're going to have to, I'm fascinated by the culture, so I want to learn more. That's fascinating.
Yeah, it's a beautiful culture. It's beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful. It's, you know, I lived in Australia. I know you did for a while, and the Aboriginal culture and, of course, the Native American culture here. It's that there's, to me, and I have my bias, but they're so much more grounded in the planet. It's
yes. Yeah, just respect. Respect for Mother Earth, you know, respect for your rivers, your mountains, you know, eating off the land, the herbs in the garden, you know, to heal, to eat. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And the family connection, you know, everyone's extended and it's a large family. So you're parented by many elders that you have great respect for. You know, it's not just it's not your small home, it's a larger community.
Yeah, and you know, the older I get, the more I recognize how much I value gratitude in my life. And those cultures, even if they're eating an animal or the land, they show gratitude for what they've got. They don't take it for granted, and it's such an uplifting thing.
You know, living in America when you've got access to everything. You know, so here, you know, when you invite people over for a barbecue, you can afford to have steaks, and the kids get beautiful steaks too. Well, that's not the case in New Zealand. You know, there might be 2 good steaks that you're sharing amongst the adults, and then there's some cheap sausages for the kids and a piece of bread, you know, but there's just, it doesn't mean that you're having less of a good time. You just don't have the resources that you have in America. And I'm still kind of baffled by people throwing away good food or having excess, you know. So I have to go back home and just kind of go back to those roots of being appreciative for the small stuff, because here in America it gets thrown out. You know, the good stuff gets thrown out too.
Yeah. Was it you who posted about the people in Thailand being so happy and smiling?
Yeah.
I thought that was
beautiful. The land of smiles.
Yeah, you just recently posted on your vacation. Yeah,
just beautiful.
So next question, you ready?
Yeah.
So what does Rana Kennelly do?
What do I do?
What do you do?
You don't want to know that I wake up at 4 a.m. and start my day.
I don't want.
What do I do? No.
I don't want the first page of Google, and I don't want anything you've done on the other podcast. I'm not interested in that.
Do you want it like my personal life or my professional life?
Go as deep as you can, but what do you do? I don't need to know that you inject. Okay. We
okay. What do I do? Yeah. What motivates me?
What do you do? What do you do? What you go out in the world and you do stuff with your family, you do stuff with others, you do stuff with people you interact, you touch people online. What is it you do?
What is it that I do? I think one of the biggest things that I do is the people that I surround myself are positive and uplifting, and I'm constantly learning from them. So I want to be surrounded by people that elevate me, make me feel happy. And when I'm in that environment, I do well. But I have to be in a positive, uplifting, supportive environment for me to do well. And what I want to do well in is giving that back to others as well. What people gift me, I want to gift that back. So my purpose on doing on an everyday basis, whether it be again with my kids on a play date, or whether it be in the practice where I work or somewhere educating, I want to do really good. I want to do better. You know, in anything that I'm putting my mind to, I want to be happy. I want to do good. I want to set a good example. And I want to elevate.
Go further on that. You want to elevate?
I want to elevate individuals. I want to elevate community. I want to elevate not just myself, you know. I'm not looking to, I've gone past, I think that you move through life and you're working so hard on yourself for so long. And it takes a long time to get comfortable in your own skin. And I'm finally there, Lonny. I'm finally comfortable in my own skin. And it's a really great place to be, because then you can actually look to others to support them and encourage them to get comfortable. But it takes a long time to get there. So once you're there, you see things clearly and you're like, I can help you. I can help you get there. But you have to face the challenges along the way.
You used that word, you elevate others. The 2 words, expand on that a little bit in terms of actionable things. Tell me more about your verb as a verb. How does that look?
Well, to elevate others is to, it's really to mentor them, isn't it?
Well, tell me a story about when you elevated someone. It could be anyone.
Oh my gosh.
Anyone.
That's daily. that's daily.
I know. I want to hear it.
Yeah,
Personal,
that's daily. Like this morning I said to my team member, she's like, I've got, the meeting with the life coach Sean tomorrow. And I immediately went into take notes beforehand, go in with your goals, and then take actionable steps to make sure that happens. So you're always elevating people is making them accountable for their actions. And when they take positive actions, then they have to share that with others. Because when you share those actions with others, you're guiding people in the right direction to make them accountable and do good and be positive and skill yourself up with knowledge, with wisdom, with time. But you also have to know that you're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Nobody looks perfect. You have to admit their mistakes. The mistakes is what people learn from as well. And when I do, and what I bring to the table is I share those mistakes with others because I've done them. Isn't it better to hear it from me that's happy to share it so you don't have to walk that path as well? And so who is Rana? Rana is someone that's really honest, that shares her mistakes, and that wants the best from you. Always.
Why do you exist?
Why do I exist? Well, there's a bigger purpose, isn't there? And when you get to, as you mature through the years, I think that we're existing to develop ourselves, but also develop, like I said, the big community around us. Like, it's not a sole purpose. It's a purpose where you bring everyone with you. Again, you're not having to sing kumbaya, but working together to challenge one another, but to come to a common goal where everyone's happy in that goal, but they're being challenged and they're doing better. That's exciting to me. That's passion. That kind of fills my cup. I get goosebumps. I want it for everyone. You know what I mean? But it's not a single person. It's a community. And that's what makes it feel good.
Have you ever thought of what your why is? Is this something you've ever contemplated?
Yeah, of course. I got that asked by my best friend. And unfortunately, she died 4 months later.
So
and we were lying and we were lying in bed together. And she said to me, Ra, what's your why? And I said, why are you asking me that? Why do you always ask me these profound questions? And she said, well, I need to know. And I'm just like, Di, you always ask me these questions. You're so annoying. You know what I mean? And I sat back. We were lying in bed together. She was reading a magazine. I was reading textbooks, basically. And she goes, but what is your why? And I had to think for a minute. And I said, we started our nursing career together. And my why was very different back then. It was about healing and helping sick patients. And working in aesthetics, my why had changed to letting people know that they belong. People come from different backgrounds as healthcare providers and they move into aesthetics. And when I started in aesthetics, I didn't feel like I belonged. I didn't feel like I had the teeny tiny waist or the big cleavage, or I didn't have the designer stuff. And so I wanted to make people feel comfortable in aesthetics.
Why did she ask you that? And at that moment when you were in bed and you were studying, she was doing?
Because she was actually enrolling to go back to school. Her purpose was to work with minorities in healthcare and elevate them. So she'd already enrolled back in university, and she'd kind of come to the point in her life where we started nursing together and we both went on to be midwives. And now she'd seen this gap in midwifery in New Zealand where minorities weren't getting cared for the way that they could be. And so she'd enrolled back in university to sort of do more of a cultural and ethnicity sort of program to work in underserved populations within midwifery. And because she was on that track, she obviously had it fresh in her mind. And she was asking me the same question.
She sounds like she was just a wonderful human being. Oh, wow. May I ask her name?
Diana.
What happened after you told her your why? Or what happened after that, during that conversation?
I remember having ice cream in bed. She was a really philosophical, what's that word?
Someone who philosophizes, philosophical.
Yeah, she was a really, that word. And she would challenge me all the time.
All the time. Was this in New Zealand?
Yeah.
Did you see her again before she passed? Anything you missed saying to her?
Probably missed telling her that she was my best friend.
Yeah.
It's definitely a regret.
I'm sorry for your loss. It sounds like a great loss.
Yeah.
Yeah. You two had a great relationship together, no doubt. Going through that kind of thing together and being from the same place. I lost a very, very dear friend in my 30s, and I things I wish I had had a chance to say. So thank you for sharing that.
That's okay. Yeah. No, I do. I regret not telling her. She used to, as smart as she was also the life of the party. So when she used to have these serious conversations, it was also with a little bit of humor as well. But she used to pull out her tits and go, Rana, tell me I'm your best friend. And I'd go, get out of here. You know what I mean? So it was always kind of like that, So she was, and obviously I acted as if she was, but I never actually said it. But there's no one else like her. There's no one else like her,
Could you guys communicate without a single word?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You knew what each other was thinking, right?
Yeah. My husband actually wasn't too fond of her because sometimes she'd reach forward and tickle his balls.
Yeah. Fair enough.
And I remember him saying to me when we first started dating, do you mind telling your friend, not to sort of violate me? And I'm like, oh, I don't have a problem with it. Like, you can just speak with her directly, So she was that kind of friend. She was good fun. She was good fun. But it's nice to have friends like that because they challenge you. I miss that. I really miss that from her.
How long ago did she pass?
4 years.
Yeah. I just got to ask from a personal standpoint. My friend's name was Kenny, and I'll just have a moment when he comes into my mind out of nowhere.
Oh, all the time.
All the time. Yeah. All the time.
Yeah. It's funny. You kind of. She's always on my mind. She's that little person on your shoulder that says, "Do better."
Mm-hmm. Or why are you fucking up?
Yeah, that one too.
And then
cute.
I bet inspiring some jokes if I had the two of you.
It's nice.
It's sad to lose people like that, but you keep them with you, don't you? A little bit. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know, isn't it?
Do you consider yourself a leader?
Only till just recently, actually. Yeah, only just recently. I was kindly invited by AMSPA to a conference, a Women in Leadership conference last year. And I got an email and it said, you've been chosen as a leader. And of course, I thought it was spam. So I never responded to it. I kind of read over it and I'm like, oh, whatever. And then I got another email, thought, oh, junk mail, junk mail. And then by the time I got it, it actually said, hey, Rana, can you please respond to us? I'm like, and I responded, I said, oh, I thought this was junk mail. Like, is this a real thing? You know, like I've been nominated or I've been selected, but I was like, who nominated me? How was I selected? And this seems a bit dodgy, you know what I mean? I was kind of like, well, I went to the conference and I'm so pleased I did because it was all women and we had great guest speakers. And someone, I can't remember who, got up and said they weren't a boss. They don't think of themselves as a boss. They think of themselves as a leader. And I was able to make that switch in that classroom. And I was like, I never, ever wanted to be a boss of anybody, ever. But I don't mind leading. So I only accepted that last year.
Wonderful. Yeah. I have also, as I've come along this journey, learned that there are people with authority, bosses, that no one in the world would follow. And there are people who are guest relations who people would follow them anywhere. And it all has to do with whether you take care of the person to the right or left of you. It has nothing to do with authority. It really doesn't.
Right, no. And it's taking care of the people you don't know as well. You know, I said that this morning. I raced into the office. We were getting a piece of marble delivered for a table. And I said to one of our administration staff, she just had her yearly review and I wasn't there. But our manager was, you know, she's with the administration, split it, divide and conquer. I'm with the providers. And I just said, you know, I just want to let you know that I want to say thank you. I know that, you know, you had your yearly review. And I said, and what's really important is, you know, you've got to step into a role of elevating the people in the practice. But I said, and when you bust to work this morning, it's really important to elevate the stranger behind you, next to you. And she goes, I want to do that. And then I'm like, good, because I need to hear it. Because I don't want to be around people. I'm long enough and old enough in the tooth that everyone that I surround myself has to want to help strangers. Everybody.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
And when you say it to them and their instant reaction is like, yes, I'm like, good, you're for me. You know, it's nice. It's a nice feeling.
Yeah. I want to circle back for 1 second here because if I don't, I will forever regret not saying this to you. This is my humble opinion, but you talked about your why and then you got into aesthetics and it changed, but you only have one why in this life and you don't actually choose it. It's something you forms very early and you have one why and it never changed. I believe your why is to elevate others. It's clear to me that that's your why. Whether you did it as midwife or did it, you just want to elevate others, and it's a beautiful thing, and it's what makes you such a great leader, in my opinion. Just in case you want to ponder that, I think that's the same why. It's just it's taken different forms, you know, and it has but you and I have a lot in common. You know, I spent 2 decades as a urologist, but I was always in female urology. I was part of an OBGYN group. And so I think it's fascinating. I was just reading, you know, and I know about you. And so there's something a little special about that or just different, you know.
You get a lot of pleasure from helping and caring for others, you know. It feels good. It's as simple as that. It's nice to do things that make you feel good, and helping people is what makes you feel good.
Yeah. Can you think back to any people in your life, again, personal, professional, who you viewed as great leaders, whether they had authority or not, but they inspired you, or great leaders? Anyone you can tell me about?
Gosh, oh my gosh, I've had so many. It changes. You know, those leaders don't stay for long, so to speak, because you take the cherries and then you move on, and then you have new aspirations or new role models. I suppose kind of the biggest leaders earlier on in my life were when I was in the New Zealand Army, because I was kind of scared of them. You know, it was the first time in my life that I'd been in an environment that I was scared for my life. You know, I wasn't in war or anything, but I was frightened of the bombardiers and the corporals and the captains. I was scared of them. They made us scared of them. But I had respect for them as well, you know. And so they were probably the first leaders in terms of that we had to follow what they said, whether we liked it or we didn't. But it was all about being safe, and it was about working as a team. And I was one of the quicker thinkers, but I was the slowest and I was the weakest. You know, I was in a male battalion. So as a female, I couldn't jump as high or run as fast. But I still hold that to this day, where you're only as strong as your weakest link. So you're always working from the ground up, And they're probably my first leaders, like in terms of that put me into shape in many different forms and ways, not just physically, but mentally. And a lot of routine, a lot of like discipline. And then I can also think in my nursing career, some of the lecturers that I had that were just really humble and kind educators. And they spoke well and they had a great message. And even when you couldn't understand, they took that time, that extra time to speak with you after class, you know, and work on things, you know, those people. So as I've moved through my career and my life, you know, I've not just sought it from people that I've looked up to or I've leaned into or learnt from. I'm also taking it from friends, you know, that set good examples and challenge you. Again, it's all about being challenged. Like I keep saying challenge, but it's true. Leaders challenge you, you know.
They challenge you.
I think so. I don't want to look at a leader that just says, oh, Rana, you're amazing. You're doing great work. You know, it's kind of like, you know, I always sort of teach that everyone's beautiful. When you're happy, you see beauty. Like I see beauty everywhere. But patients don't sit in our chair and want to be told that they're beautiful. They want to know your honest opinion. And here are the options available should you want to do them. But do them if you feel comfortable when the time's right for you. So our patients want our honest feedback, and from our mentors or leaders, we want their honest feedback. It doesn't have to always be positive.
I think, Rana, you and I need to do a collab post. Okay, you ready? Because you've given me the inspiration. Here it is. You ready? It's a collab post, and all it says is, I need a leader, not a cheerleader.
There you go.
Huh?
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
It's nice.
Thank you for inspiring that. Yeah. I'm just curious because I saw the picture of you in the Army when I was with Erica and Wasim up in there, and those great pictures. So just curious, you may not, but if you think back to your military experience, you mentioned the leaders, was there anyone who you considered, like if I said to you, who was the best leader and why was that one male or female the best leader in the military for you? What would you say? Do you have an answer?
Yeah, you know, I was so petrified of him, but I didn't want to do anything wrong by him. So I wanted to make him proud. You know what I mean?
Why? Why did you want to make him proud? What
because he was so invested in seeing us be successful. This was in our basic training. So I was up north in New Zealand for 3 months. And none of them were nice. You know, it wasn't a great time, but you came out of it feeling invincible. When you finish that basic training, you're like, I can be or do whatever I put my mind to. Like, it was so powerful. But for him in particular, he sort of made us suffer a little bit more. You know, more press-ups, more running around, extra duties, extra drills, and almost broke you. You know, I remember him taking me into a tent and he was about to shave my hair off. And I remember just sitting in the stool. I'm like, I didn't budge. I was at attention sitting on a stool with razors, razors just about to do this. I did not budge. I had total respect for him. Wow. Whatever you've got to do it. and I'm going to follow.
What did he do to?
I just had such respect. I don't know. It's in his every action and his every drill that he commanded. You just were not going to break the rules. And I suppose, look, we're talking basic training in the army. They weed the ones out really quick. So if you've made it to your 3rd month, you're not really leaving, but they're trying hard to get you out of there to see if you're going to break. They're trying hard. And I'm like, I will not be broken. So he was the hardest one to get past. So I suppose within me, I'm like, dude, you can't break me. Do whatever. Because I was not going to be broken by him. And others were.
So you were sitting in that chair with the razors right near your head. What happened next? What happened next?
He kicked the chair, I fell off, and I stood at attention again. He didn't shave my head, but he could have. All the other guys got their heads shaved. I got dragged in too. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. It's a fine line, isn't it? When you have to take care of people, but also demand excellence. Have you had circumstances at the confidence bar where you've had to let someone go or do something like that, even though they're part of your family, where it just wasn't working out?
Oh, yes.
Tell me about it. Tell me about a time that was what you
Yeah,
did.
you know, it's never good. It's funny now. As I've grown and I've had, the confidence lab I established in 2013, but the confidence bar, and that was me, Lonny. So that's easy. You can manage yourself, right? That's enjoyable. For the confidence bar, our medical spa, that's with our team. And I never thought in a million years that I would have to let someone go, not in a million years. And what I ask for now is just open and honest, communication. That's key. But I had to let someone go because they were starting up their own practice. So I was like, oh, good old me. I said to her, oh, I'm so happy for you. That's amazing. How can I help? What can I do to help you? I've been there, I'm in it, da-da-da. So I said to her, when's your last day? Can you just give us some notice and all that sort of stuff? And she's like, oh, I'm not sure. She never gave me a date. I'm like, well, let me know. She's like, well, the kids have got school holidays, so maybe after the holidays and da-da-da. And so the next morning, my medical director, my mentor, I let him know. So I'm sitting on the couch. I'm like, hey, Dr. Such and Such, I just want to let you know that such and such is opening up our own practice. And he goes, well, you'll fire her today. And I was sitting on the couch, Lonny, and I looked over to the kitchen. I thought, I'm going to vomit. I am absolutely good. And I can't say that to my boss and my mentor, right? Because like I did in the military, I'm going to take the direction from my mentors, my leaders, my boss. And I thought, and anyway, he said to me, you've got this morning to do it when she comes into work. And I just sweated all day long. I sweated. I actually let her go at her last patient because I'm scared of my boss. And instead of just making it clean and crisp and thank you and, goodbye and I wish you all the well, I gave all the excuses. I never put that on him. But what I realized is that she got everything that she needed from me. She got, vendors, pharmaceutical reps. She got information. All of that was taken care of. So you don't realize that when you're in a business, people are planning and they've already planned it and executed it, and you're the last to know. And that's okay. Like, to me, all of that stuff's okay. Just communicate it and let's do this openly. You know what I mean? So I had that. And then it's funny now because this is a couple of weeks ago, we've got name badges at work, and I have sometimes guest educators, and I pulled out this name badge and I said to everyone, who's Erin? And I said, did I fire someone and I don't really know who they are? That sort of thing. And everyone was laughing. And I say to my team, I lost sleep over that. I lost a lot of sleep.
Sure.
And I felt bad, but now I've grown and just realized, I say to people from the beginning, if you can't get growth here at the confidence bar and you need to spread your wings, if I can't supply what you need and you're not happy or whatever, just let me know, because we're a business and we need to plan for it. And I just need you to have open and honest communication with me. So I understand if people have to move on, because me in my career, I've got growth with each movement, and sometimes you don't realize how much you needed to change that environment or get a new position or a new job in a new country, different state, different practice, whatever, for your own growth. So I get it. I don't expect people to stay with me for 20 years. I would like it, but I don't expect it,
Yeah.
So now if I had to fire someone, it would be quick, it would be clean, and there's no hard feelings. And Lonny, females in business have emotion. Males in business, they have less emotion and they just get the job done. But I don't want to think like a man, it's not who I am. But I do try to have less emotion to it and just think, the time is done. It's time for them to move on and grow, and it's time for me to work with the team that we've got,
Sure, Rana. I totally understand that. I've been on this journey now that I have a med spa and what have you. And, one of the conscious pivots I made, because I don't want to grow just for growth's sake. I don't want to be a part of a chain. I don't want to expand. But I do recognize that people want to grow. And so I make sure that we're growing and expanding so that they have opportunities to go from guest relations to head of training to these things. It's really, I've seen a change. It's a change in my philosophy, but I love watching. It's just as, I get as much satisfaction of doing a wonderful filler in my face in someone else's face as watching them grow. It's just, I feel very blessed to be there. So I think you probably experienced similar things because it's your why.
It is. No, it's so exciting. Yeah. I love seeing our team. Just the little things, like yesterday, one of the girls came up to me and, she'd received this beautiful handwritten card from a patient. And it was all about, and this patient had taken a lot of time and detail to write this beautiful card. And our provider was just like, she held it to her heart. She was like tearful and grateful. And the patient had actually been on holiday in Africa and brought her back a hand-carved mask. And that growth in itself, you're just so happy for people. But when I said to her, and this is what I always do, I looked at her because I remember her complaining about this patient.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because, she was just a little difficult at the beginning, had problems and going through emotional trauma and these sorts of things. And the provider was there for her, of course, but also had to, let's say, debrief and reflect. And that was done with me. So I looked at her and I said, you've won her now, and I said, and wasn't it worth it? Like, isn't it worth it? Like, just to keep continuing on. As the struggle is there, but you overcome it. And now look what you've done for this patient. Like the mere fact that she's done these gifts of gratitude. And that's what it's about. Take the time. Don't take on the emotional journey of that patient and their struggles, but support them in it. And when we give those little treatments that give them confidence and they have a more successful life, there is nothing more satisfying than that. That's job satisfaction right there.
That's life satisfaction,
isn't
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
How wonderful, how lucky are we to be in a place where we can use our skills, feed our family, and do this. It's a privilege. It's a privilege. Every day. Yeah, to that end, I think there's a lot of people interested in getting into aesthetics, and there's people in aesthetics who want to go to the next level. What sort of things would you, not so much in a nuts and bolts, go work for a plastic surgeon kind of thing, but what kind of things should they explore in their soul before they either jump into trying to be in aesthetics or run their own place? Like, what do you think is important to know at the end of the day, so you don't look back and go, oh my God, this is more work, or this is, what would you say?
Well, we know it is work. It's a lovely field to be in, but it's work. It's medicine. It's work. It's hard work.
Yeah.
But I say, look, when people come into our entry-level courses, I give off this persona on social media, and it is me, but, it's more casual, it's more friendly, jokey. But when they come into that classroom, Lonny, I cut them down. It's all about integrity, having a good moral compass, doing the right thing, and I threaten them. I'm like, if you do something bad, I'll come for you. I will cut your throat. This industry's small. I will find you and hurt you. And we're taking care of patients, and it's a profitable industry. And don't take advantage of your patients. Don't take advantage of, there's just so much grubby stuff out there that I just really instill from the very beginning. Have a very good moral compass, have integrity, have your pride, be respectful, work hard, do your best. And I think that too, sometimes people expect things very quickly and they haven't deserved it yet. So, I was in a training, one of the pharmaceutical trainings recently, and there was someone very new in the group, to aesthetics, and there was a provider that was just 2 years in. And I looked, and she kind of made out, and this is in front of her team, she made out that she was sort of the experienced master. And I thought, gosh, I'm not under my own roof here. I can't really say what I want to say, because when I'm at the confidence bar, I get to say what I want to say. When I'm a guest in someone else's practice, I'm very careful. I'm a welcomed guest. I'm not going to disrespect anyone. But I sort of leaned into her and whispered. I said, you know what? I remember being 2 years in. I said, it was a beautiful time. I felt like nothing could go wrong. I felt like I knew everything. And I said, until something goes wrong, and she kind of just looked at me, and she didn't really get what I was saying, but she will. But when you're overly confident, that's when mistakes happen. Mm-hmm. And you just have to be humble and rein it in and know that we're only human and we make mistakes. But don't be overly confident and cocky, because that's when disaster hits,
Yeah. You are clearly someone who sees the glass half full, and optimism. Is that a gene you inherited, or what do you think? I know you got a bunch of brothers. Is it? It is, isn't it?
I think it is. My mother is the most annoying person on the planet. I feel guilty sometimes, because when I, see her, she's like, what a beautiful day. And I'm like, shut up, Mum. Like, oh my gosh. And my grandfather's the same. I'm definitely not as happy as them. I'm more of a skeptic, and I'm sort of like, screw my nose up at their happiness. But it's your family. You kind of screw your nose up at your family. But definitely there's a happy gene that sort of, but I got the very small part of it. If you met my mother and my grandfather, it's next level annoying.
I hope to meet them someday, Rana. I want to go. Where are you from in New Zealand? What's your hometown?
I'm from Christchurch.
Oh God, I landed there. That's where I landed, and it was amazing. Talk about trusting people. Are they still there in Christchurch?
Well, we had the Christchurch earthquake, so everyone sort of scattered. Yeah. So my family's all over now. Yeah.
And I know, unfortunately, your father passed when you were very young. Yeah. Do you have knowledge about him? Was he that way? Or
no, I don't know. No, I don't. And there's photos of obviously me with my father, and sometimes I think to myself, is that photo, have I turned that photo into a memory, or was it the memory and now I see the photo? And I'm not sure.
What would your mom say about him?
Do they met when they were young. So my mum had me when she was young. And what's the cute thing about that? My brother was born a year and 1 day later. And I remember my mum saying to someone, oh, the best mistake that I ever made or something. And I thought, oh, as a teenager, oh my God, I was a mistake. So as I grew, I said to Mum and got the courage. I said, oh, Mum, I heard you tell a friend that I was the best mistake you ever made. She goes, no, you weren't the mistake. Your brother was. Oh my gosh. No, I know little pieces about my father, and my brother looks like him, and he has carried through characteristics of him, I think more so than me, but so.
I'm respectful for your time, but I want to know a couple of things before we close. Number one, do you know of any really interesting facts that makes a kiwi bird different?
Well, the kiwi bird, unfortunately, it's nearly extinct.
I know.
Yeah, which is sad, and it's our national bird, and it's so well respected, and it's a beautiful, beautiful bird, but it's docile, and I kind of like that. I kind of like that it's a little docile. Its egg, when it takes over like 99% of its body. I do not know how it passes, but it's a huge miracle in itself. And I've obviously seen kiwi birds. They're nocturnal, but they're beautiful with their long little beaks and little nostrils. And all our children's books are related around the kiwi.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I had the opportunity to see one, and they're fascinating creatures. And, I think one of the only birds that have nostrils at the end of their beak. No, and they have a sense of smell. That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just.
But they don't have wings that work. That's the problem.
They don't even have tail feathers. They have whiskers. Yeah, I just say that because people may not know, but we call you Kiwis and you speak kind of a closed mouth compared to the Aussies. So
that's right. You've got it. You've got it down.
I lived in Melbourne for a year. Where were you in Australia? Where were you?
I lived in Melbourne and Sydney, and my mum lives in Perth now.
Yeah. If you ever heard someone, when you're in Australia, you never know, especially if you're new there, but if they ask them to say fish and chips, because the Kiwis say fish and chips, it's just so different. Yeah.
It is. That's what we had last night as a treat for Valentine's.
Fish and chips.
We made the family fish and chips. That was our Valentine's meal.
You can take the girl out of New Zealand, but you can't take New Zealand out of the girl, right? Yeah. Well, so are there any questions that you wished I had asked, or things you would like to express? Anything you that we didn't touch on? Just curious.
Oh, no, from me for you? No.
For our audience.
No. No, I didn't come with any questions.
Well, good. Either did I, actually. I've just been having a little chat with you. I could talk to you for days. You're so engaging. For people who may be living under a rock, just if they want to find you, reach out to you, and don't get too excited because I still have another question. But the question: how do people reach you? What's the best way to get in touch with you or follow you?
Oh, yeah, probably the best. Someone sent me a message this morning and they're like, I asked you this question on Patreon. I said, oh my gosh, I don't get on Patreon. I only respond on Patreon on the laptop, on a desktop. But the quickest way to get hold of me is through social media. And I say, look, I'm happy to help with anything, but don't ask me where to buy tox needles, because I have to Google it. You know what I mean?
So, and where do they find you on social? Just let them know.
Oh, my Instagram handle is naturally_Rana.
Yeah. We have a little tradition here on this podcast where, so the last question is submitted randomly by one of our listeners or one of my patients, and I pick it randomly. So this is the one that came up for you. Yeah.
It's adorable.
All right. So let's see. Here it is. You ready? You ready for this last question?
Yeah.
Okay. I think you're going to like this, Rana. Here it is. You are going to be transformed into a product, something that is made in a factory and is inanimate. And this is permanent and can't be undone. You will spend the rest of eternity as this product. So the question is, what product would you be and why would you choose that one?
Oh, I have to be, can I be something in nature like a river?
Nope. No, sorry. You have to be. So think about this, because this is, Rana, this is eternity, okay?
I know. I was thinking
Now-
my friend was on magic mushrooms yesterday. I'm like, oh, do I want to be eaten?
Well, all I can tell you is this is a family show, so be careful. Rana, when I saw this question, my heart sunk. Because I don't want to be, I'm just launching my podcast. I don't want to be totally canceled. So this is a loaded question for someone like you. It could be any product, though. I'm going to open it up. Anything.
When you say product, what are you meaning by product?
Something made that's inanimate. So it's man-made and inanimate. So, Rana, you've got a great imagination. You know the range of products out there. But I do not want to be canceled on this podcast so early in my podcasting career. So
You're
just have
so funny.
Well, you told me your friend tickles your husband's balls. What do you want me to do? You don't think I'm worried? Come on. Jeez. And you have no problem with that,
Oh, I don't. That was the concerning part.
Well, it's just this, ever since I met you, there's a lot of concerning parts, but we won't go there.
Okay, so a product. I'm made in a factory. It can be a product. I'm there for eternity. Oh my gosh, that's so hard.
I want you to respect me in the morning, so it has to be hard.
The problem is I have to be movable. I can't be like stationary. I have to have movement.
So you don't think there are products out there that are moving?
Yeah.
I mean,
so I don't know. I'd have to be like a helicopter or something basic like that because I have to be on the move.
Isn't that appropriate to be a helicopter for someone whose why is to elevate? Is that... Rana,
I have to be
moving and elevating. I mean, do you see how that works?
I know. I see it now, but I didn't realize.
You know who was on your shoulder giving you the answer? Thanks, Di. Am I right?
Probably, yeah.
I felt it. Kenny does that. Kenny does that to me.
Yeah.
What a joy. Thank you for spending your valuable time with us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.